TG Geeks, episode 371, March 28th, 2022. Discovery dad jokes are hellbound. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane. We're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona, where the big kitty is meowing in the background.
Bagheera wants to be a guest on the show. And I'm Ben Raggington, also coming to you from, it's now spring because it's over 90 degrees
and we turn the air conditioner on.
Here in Phoenix, Arizona. That's how we want it. Yeah. If it's over 100, it's summer. If it's over 90, it's spring.
It's spring. Spring has sprung. Let's get on with it.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the two gay geeks are discussing this.
Well, in this episode, we are talking to Micheal Chan, who is an actor and a podcaster, and we'll get to, when we talk to him in the interview, you'll find out why he is special, and we'll just leave it at that. And then we're going to have our birthday shout-outs, our featured podcast of the week, and some feedback and regular shout-outs. May have something in the second segment if we have time to talk about, as well as our weekly recap and our regular shout-outs. So let's just get on with this episode. We welcome to the show Mr. Micheal Chan. He is an actor, filmmaker, and podcaster. Welcome to the show, Micheal.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. And we know Micheal through Hamish Downie, who has done a number of things with Micheal.
I'm beginning to think Hamish knows everybody now.
I know he does.
I mean, he's like it's either, Hamish is the center of the universe, okay?
He's like, he comes up with these interviews and these people, and it's like, how the heck he must be persistent. I mean, we can never break into some of these people, and then all of a sudden he's got five questions with them. And it's like, what?
And then he ends up coordinating our little get-togethers like he did with you. So I was like, my gosh. I mean, it's so obviously we're doing something wrong.
Exactly.
I have my own podcast, and I'm just like, man, how does Hamish do it?
I know.
My partner and I have such a hard time finding people for our.
I know. Sometimes.
Oh, it's
the damdemic has certainly created a dearth of
well, not a lot of people
to talk to.
Well, especially for the first year, because a lot of people were not working in the entertainment industry. Mm-hmm. So Keith and I just ended up having to come up with concepts and topics for ourselves to discuss, and then things started to loosen up a bit. But if it weren't for authors, we would have dried up.
Exactly. We've almost run out of BS to talk about. It's like, oh my God, if we have to do another episode where it's just us talking, I'm going to scream.
My old podcast, which was like a food and community podcast, pandemic helped in that, because I have so many friends in the industry and nobody was acting at the time, right? The industry was shut down. I just ended up starting to go friend to friend to friend. So every episode was a friend.
I know,
as a guest, and that worked for a while. But
and then they dry up and say, "Don't call me anymore." It sounds
some of them on more than once.
Yeah, exactly. We've had that. So. Tell us, Micheal, you are an actor, a filmmaker, and podcaster.
Yes, I am.
Help us understand who Micheal Chan is. Give us kind of the elevator pitch of your life and how you got into acting and filmmaking, etc. elevator pitches if you're going to halfway up the Empire State Building.
So I am the giant nerd who was going to be a doctor and went to the University of Toronto to become a doctor, and even got himself his Bachelor of Science degree in human biology to become a doctor, only to discover that he had a love for acting because he got bitten by a radioactive acting spider and was transformed into your friendly neighborhood thespian. So after graduating from university, I went to my parents and said, I want to be an actor. But my parents were like, hey, guess what? We want you to have a practical job at least lined up just in case. So I went and took my LSAT, MCAT, and I have a real estate license. And then after all that, my parents were like, okay, we'll support you. And I started training. And so 16 years ago, I became a professional actor. I am a unionized actor now. I've been unionized for around 10 years.
Cool.
And filmmaking is a little newer. During the pandemic, just because the industry was shut down, I had nothing to do, but I wanted to be creative. So I wrote a little short film for a film festival that a casting director I know in Toronto, he was having like a film festival. So I made a short film for that with my buddy, Timothy Ng, and we submitted it. It didn't get screened or anything, but it got selected, which was nice. From there, I just developed a love for it. And then I made another short film called The Only Asian, with my good friend Jenny Wong and my best friend Katisha Shaw. And that has gone on to win quite a few awards, including a Best Actor award for myself.
Oh, cool.
And
Nice.
Best Short at multiple festivals, and was recently screened at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood.
Oh, cool.
Oh, very good.
Podcasting also came right like before the pandemic. I was introduced to podcasts by someone I call my podcast dad, Jameel Robinson. He's a podcaster himself, and I was like, I need to do this. I need to do this. I love audio stuff, so I started a podcast called Talking with Our Mouths Full, which was like a food and community podcast of interviews, and I introduced with my co-host Places to Eat, but that podcast went on hiatus after I lost my mom a year ago.
Oh no!
But now I'm back. Now I'm back with Alexander Blackburn, who is a filmmaker and editor, all around great guy from the UK, and we have what is called the Hellbound Podcast. Airs every Wednesday on every podcast platform. We talk about everything horror.
Oh,
cool.
Very nice.
Cool.
I'm gonna have to start looking for that one now.
We've done a lot of horror filmmakers. Unbelievable. We kind of got in with Horrible Imaginings Film Festival in San Diego. Well, Santa Ana now, but Micheal has become a good friend of ours, and we were sponsors of that for.
We actually got to screen. He actually gave us some movies in the LGBTQ category and said, take a look at these and let me know what you think.
Let me know.
And we helped decide what was going to show.
We were the ones that decided what was being shown that year.
And actually introduced the feature film for the 2 years in a row. We got to introduce the feature film, which was great.
Wow.
So that's probably the biggest honor we're ever going to get.
Exactly. So this is really great. I remember your talking with your mouth.
Yeah, I remember that
podcast.
Yeah.
And
that did really well. It's just it was a lot of work, and like I said, my mom passed. She lost her battle of cancer last year.
I'm so sorry.
And I admittedly lost a will to do podcasting at all for a while. And then when Alex came to me, he's like, "Hey, do you want to get back in to podcasting?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I just don't know if I have the energy in me to actually produce." And he's like, "No, I'll produce. I'll do all the editing.
All you got to do is talk."
I'm like, well, okay, sure. Why not? Why not? Let's try to do something to deal with my grief, and it's worked. It's
cool.
And our podcast is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I understand. I mean, the podcasting. I lost my mom last year too, so or actually a year and a half now.
Oh my gosh, has it been that long?
Yeah, it has.
Wow.
It's been a year and a half since we lost her. Yeah, the podcasting helped keep me sane. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's a really great way to process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, TikTok is what kept me sane. See, I don't still to this day don't really know what I'm doing, but it's just the ability to make tiny little like 15, 20, 30 second videos, just keep my brain moving,
Exactly.
really helped. That's how I kind of got through things.
And what is your Twitter handle? Twitter dad jokes?
TikTok. So my TikTok is at Michael CW Chan, which by the way is my handle all around social media. But my dad jokes are under the hashtag That's So Dad. Yeah.
Yeah, your dad jokes. I mean, it's amazing how many times I open Twitter and there you are with one of your dad jokes.
Joke,
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I make them on TikTok and then I post them on Instagram and Twitter as well. And it's just a lot of fun because I know a lot of people don't have TikTok, so I'm like, you know what? I want to make the entire world groan.
Okay, I was going to ask, what
Make the entire word miserable.
What was your motivation for doing that? I mean, it's novel, I will admit. Not many people are out there. I mean, every once in a while I might see, David Gerald once maybe every 3 months he'll do a dad joke of some sorts. But it's not something that's very common. And all of a sudden I start seeing you out there doing that. And, I'd like to say that you're filling a need. But what
is that need?
Yeah. What is that need? But I was wondering, why did you decide to do that?
I've always been a punster. Like I grew up, my dad puns a lot. He's punned all my life, and he tells his dad jokes in English and in Cantonese.
Oh my gosh!
So, yeah.
Okay, that is
life.
So far out.
Yeah. So for me, humor has always been puns, right? Like,
right.
I was dad joking since I was a kid. And when I just went on TikTok and my good friend Hiromi Okayama, who goes under the handle Hiromi Axe, she's pretty huge on there. And I was like, I'm coming on to TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know if I want to post anything. And then I ended up posting like this weird thing where I like wore my wife's Sailor Moon cosplay and just danced around because I thought that's what everyone seems to be doing. So.
Kinky.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of it because I think I rocked it.
Yeah.
Okay. We all
as
have
long
to
as it fit. As long as it fit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it fit.
Now we all have to look for that now.
Oh no, it was tight, but it fit. And like I said, I pulled
Don't you rip that?
I even had a shake weight for no apparent reason. I don't even know what I was doing. And then Hiromi's like, Michael, look, you can't keep this up because I'm pretty sure you'll run out of cosplays. And so you need to find something that you love that is you, and just be you. So I'm like, well, I'm an actual dad. I have kids and I love punning. And she's like, well, do something with that. So I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I follow Punny Pete on Facebook. So, oh my God. And some of the puns are just, I've always loved puns and I make people groan all the time.
Yeah. I keep saying that if, my stepdad had passed away before I met Keith, and I kept thinking, oh man, if these two had met, I would be in a corner just plugging my ears with all the puns going on back and forth.
Oh my God. But yeah, a lot of people always ask me about my delivery of the puns though, because it's so flat.
It's so dead.
Emotionless. Yeah. Yeah. And that's actually, it's kind of sad, but the first few times I actually recorded myself doing these because I was, grieving. I didn't have much emotion.
Right.
I just told them like, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to throw this up as if anyone's going to see this. And next thing I know, people are seeing it. I'm like, oh no. Now I have to keep doing it this way.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I mean, you tell the pun and then you kind of do this exit stage left, boom, and you're off. And it's like,
I also say thank you, which is I don't even know what I was doing and why I decided to say thank you at the end of every single pun.
Oh dear. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for it actually works. I mean, it's like thank you, I'll be here all week, kind of thing. Tip your waiter.
Oh my God. Some of my friends have actually messaged me. It's like, I want to murder you, Michael. Stop. I'm like, no, with over 9,000 followers? No.
No. I know. So I want to talk about this big, huge, just elephant in the room here.
Elephant? I thought that was a starship.
Oh God, yeah. You took my line. How dare you?
Is it the USS Elephant?
I was going to say it was a big starship in the room.
The big starship in the room.
Hey, great minds think alike.
There you go. Great minds stink alike, right? Think. Sorry.
We stink alike. Oh my God.
Anyway.
I could take that so many places that would give this an explicit tag, so let's not.
I could too, so let's not.
So, with that... What the heck, for those that don't know, what the heck are we talking about here?
We are talking about my appearances in Star Trek Discovery.
Were you in Discovery?
I'm not on the actual Discovery ship, no.
Oh, dang it.
It's
well,
fine.
we're hanging up now.
Oh, please.
No.
Yes, but I have the prestigious job of working under Admiral Vance on the Federation's headquarters ship. So
exactly.
Yeah, you're cool. The FHQ ops officer. You have a title.
You have a title.
Yes, I do. Yes, I have a title, yes.
That is absolutely, it's wonderful. I think that's,
thank you.
We know somebody that's on Star Trek Discovery. That is cool.
Oh, I'm just going to say, we know somebody who's in the Star Trek universe.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, wow, okay, far out. I mean, now we followed you on Instagram, for years, and I know that you followed us.
Twitter and
all that. So we kind of knew each other at a distance, or at least we were aware of each other at a distance. So to see you on Discovery, it was like, okay, 12 degrees of separation, I suppose.
Exactly. So how did this come about?
Yeah.
How did you, obviously you're networking and,
and you've now, you're a nerd. So obviously getting on Star Trek is something that you probably wanted very badly.
It was, and I'll give this because I'm aware of like time restraints. So I'll try to keep this short. But my mom introduced me to Star Trek. It was the first science fiction anything that I was introduced to, because she just had this huge crush on William Shatner. She thought he was just gorgeous. And so she's like, you're going to watch the show with me. I'm like,
wow, if only my mom had been like that. I had to watch Star Trek behind her back.
So I was watching Star Trek with my mom while she was going, ooh, Captain Kirk. I'm like, yo, Sulu. Wow.
Well, right? I mean, it's Asian representation.
Exactly.
And also Spock, because as a kid he looked kind of Asian to me, so I was like, cool, Sulu and Spock are my favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I fell in love with Star Trek, and then TNG came out during my childhood, and then DS9, all the different treks, and I've idolized people like Garrett Wang with his Harry Kim, right?
Oh man, yeah.
And all the Asian actors, because I was like, I want to be a Starfleet officer, and I don't mean like a real life space astronaut. I meant like I want to be on Star Trek. I wish one day that would happen, but I never thought it would. When I became an actor, Star Trek wasn't filming here, so that wasn't a goal. And I didn't have like huge goals as an actor when I started. I just wanted to work. Because I love the art. I have a massive passion for acting. So I spent, quite a few years doing commercials, doing TV shows here and there. And then also on the outside doing short films, student films, indie films. But then when it was announced that Star Trek Discovery was going to start filming in Toronto, I went to my agents and I said, look, I know I've never had big goals. Every goal I've given you has been just, get me on a decent show, get me a decent commercial, whatever. But now I have one. I want that. That is my childhood dream, and I want to make it come true. And they told me, like, Michael, this is difficult. Like, you're not really known, and most people auditioning for that have like a much better resume than you. So you're gonna have to work your butt off. And so we got to work together. They started pitching me, not for Trek, mind you. They pitched me for a lot of other things first, to start really pushing me harder to get me stuff that would be able to make me be seen as someone that would fit the Trek universe.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I even had a demo reel produced that was a little bit more focused for Trek-based stuff. And then 2.5 years after I started that process, I finally got my first audition for Trek.
Oh, cool.
No, that didn't amount to anything. And it was hard because, like, I didn't audition a lot for the show at all. And it's hard to. It's like winning the lottery just to get an audition for Trek.
Right.
And, like, the industry we're in now, Trek is one of the most diverse shows out there. They really, really care about diversity, but at the end of the day, there's still not, a lot of roles for East Asians. So it takes a lot longer. Like, I have a lot of Caucasian friends who audition, on a larger frequency than I did for Trek.
Interesting.
But yeah, but last year, that's when beginning year, I got a call from my agent. She's like, look, don't hold your breath, but you're on hold. I'm like, a hold is not like you got it. A hold is like they like you. They're just making sure.
Really?
Like 2 or 3 or 4 other people, right?
Wow.
I'm like, okay.
And it's like, how hard was it for you to kind of keep your head together and not just geek out with the mere idea that you're on hold?
I was freaking out. I really was. But then that hold, it took a while. It took months. Eventually transformed into a booking.
Wow.
And so this is, I'm just going to add this in here because I need to put this out there for my mom. I was and still am under an NDA, right? Non-disclosure agreement, where there's a lot of stuff that's confidential. And no one back then, when I got booked, when all that, nobody knew. I mean, obviously my wife knew. Not even my closest best friends knew.
Wow.
I got booked. I told nobody. I kept, even from my own parents, but my mom was dying. And so I actually got to set, like, I filmed my first episode prior to her death. And I thought a lot about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to tell her.
She's not going to tell anybody.
Yeah, who's she going to tell?
So
you tell the angels.
It's not just that. It's that she knows my career. She has always believed in me.
Right.
And I knew that it was very important for her to see how far I've gotten before she goes. So when I was at the hospital with her, I pulled out my phone. I'm like, so here's a little picture of my uniform from wardrobe, Mom.
Wow.
She's like, you're in Star Trek. Like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been an awesome moment.
Yeah, it was.
That is so cool.
And if you need a moment to
collect
yourself,
if you need to collect yourself, we get
fine.
it. Yeah, I understand.
That is amazing.
My greatest regret is that she never got to see me actually on the show.
Wow.
I don't know if it's regret's the right word, but it's just, it's the one thing, Like,
yeah.
I wish she was still here to actually see, her son.
Right.
In the yellow, mind you, Captain back then in the original series, yellow meant something else. But
right.
In the yellow and on the show,
Exactly. Wow.
Doing Sulu stuff.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. So
That is so cool.
That really is cool. So let's. I want to discuss something. This is. I just want to get your personal reactions on this. Yeah. One thing that really impressed me in the season finale that we just had is there is a moment of dialogue, actual dialogue. I mean, it's real dialogue between you and Admiral Vance, played by Oded Fehr, who is another actor that I'm just like, I idolize over. I love Oded Fehr.
Me too. He was one of my idols growing up.
So, what kind of an experience was like? I mean, obviously you got to, there's rehearsal, there's blocking, blah, 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 blah. But when
there's the professional part of it.
Yeah. There's a very professional component to this. But I have to wonder, did any point you, what I like to say, stop and smell the roses? And that is when you had a moment completely to yourself, did you have that thought of like, oh my God, I just acted in a show I love, opposite an actor I really, really respect. I mean, what kind of reaction were you having?
So because I also worked with him in episode 8, that was the first time. So that was before my mom passed. I remember receiving the script and reading it for the first time, and then seeing Admiral Vance's name on there, and I knew who it was. That just blew my mind.
I'm sure.
I remember going, "Oh my God, oh my God, I'm gonna meet and work with Oded Fehr. Oh my God."
Exactly.
But once I got to set, like I'm pretty good at being professional. Like I don't generally get starstruck or anything. And Oded, by the way, is just one of the kindest, one of the most real people I have ever met in this industry. He is just a class act and a sweetheart. And he made me feel so welcome.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
But it was only after that day, like when it was over and I went home and I was talking to my wife about my day, I was that's when it hit. I was like, oh my God, I spent a day with Oded Fehr. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I know.
We need that moment.
When he first appeared on the screen in the first episode where he showed up, it was like, oh my God, that's Oded Fehr.
Yeah.
How the hell did they get him on the show?
And in terms of you, I think it's healthy to have that moment of some sort of appreciation for what you've experienced. I think it's a really good thing that you're able to, really internalize that in a way and just kind of, let that blossom inside of you and say, I did something significant.
Absolutely.
I mean,
go ahead.
I was
just going to say, as an actor, at least for me, I can't speak for every actor, but for me, because I get like things like call sheets, which has names on them and scripts in that before I get to set, anytime I have any of these, these outbursts of feeling like, oh my God, it happens before and then after, right? Mm-hmm. So that I can be a professional on set.
Right.
And it helps.
That's
it
cool.
Helps a lot. Yeah. I know what's coming. It's like when I worked with James Callis, Baltar from...
oh, really?
I can't talk too much about it, but I did work with him. And I remember, I got the call sheet and I got the script. I'm like, James Callis. Oh my God. Whoa. Like, I love this man. Like his acting I study his acting.
He's a fabulous actor.
Yeah. I study his work. Oh my God. I'm going to get to work with him. And I get to say, I'm like, hey, nice to meet you, blah, 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 let's work. And I go home like, hey, it's James Callis, it's Paul Tucker, oh my God.
Yeah, you're jumping on the bed. I work with James Callis.
Yeah.
So, sadly, we're beginning to run out of time. So, let me ask this: is there anything coming up in the future that you can talk about?
I can. So, in the filmmaking side of things, I've went from making short little 1-minute cell phone films to starting a production company with my best friend Katisha Shaw. And we've already produced a horror film called Hunting Darkness that is in the festival circuit right now, but hopefully you guys will be able to watch it soonish. And Kat is the lead in that, and she's phenomenal. She's one of the best actresses I know. Like, watch out for that name, Katisha Shaw, because she's gonna be a star.
Okay.
And then we've also produced something called Asphalt and Lipstick, which is kind of like a grindhouse. It's like a grindhouse short that's we're hoping to eventually turn into a feature. And we just wrapped on something called Fishbowl, which is like that she is also the lead in. It's kind of like a Courtney Love, Kurt Cobain kind of story.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of dark. And then we have a bunch of short films coming up, and we have a feature script that we're looking at that's also a horror. So
now you're busy.
Lots coming. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, we have a lot coming.
Nice.
It's been great.
Nice. So if people want to follow you, and I highly recommend that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, simply for the dad jokes.
Yeah, for the dad jokes alone. And we did briefly touch on this, but if you could just remind our listeners, where on social media can they find you? And like a website or anything like that?
Right. So my website is michealchan.ca. Chan is CHAN. And also my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok and Facebook handle is at MichealCW.Chan.
All right.
Well, this has been absolutely wonderful.
It's been a delight.
Thank you so much, Michael, for being on the show.
My pleasure. You guys are absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, shesheni.
Hi, I'm Michael Chan from Star Trek Discovery, and you are listening to The Two Gay Geeks.
Well, here's a few selected birthdays for March 28th through April the 3rd, 2022. March 28th, we have Jerome Isaac Friedman. He was an American physicist whose work led to the development of the quark model in particle physics. Which showed that the inner structure of protons were quarks. Mm-hmm. And he's still active at the age of 91.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. And then we have Alexander Grotendik, French mathematician, responsible for the creation of modern algebraic geometry.
Well, now I know who to blame.
Exactly.
He's responsible for my high school nightmares.
Exactly. I put him on here because I read that and I said, everybody's going to love this one. The man you love to hate, the mathematician. If you're a mathematician, it was quite a breakthrough in math science, or the theory of math, if you will.
Well,
number theory.
Algebra is such a cornerstone in my mind of mathematics that without it, you couldn't have the theoretical physical science that we have today.
Exactly. Then March 29th, Eric Idle.
Oh, my goodness.
Actor of Monty Python fame.
I met him.
Yes. He's an accomplished guitarist. Did you know that?
Well, yes, I did actually, because he was in a wonderful little, I don't know if you want to call it a tribute band or a send-off band, but they were the Ruttles.
The Ruttles. Yes, he was also the one that procured part of the money for The Life of Brian from none other than George Harrison.
Oh, okay.
And he said of gay marriage, "It's time they suffered too."
That sounds like something Eric would say.
Then we have Marina Sirtis, actress, Deanna, Counselor Troy from Next Gen. It seems like we just talked about her the other day.
It feels like we did.
I
know. I know. It does feel like we just talked about it.
Unless she came up in somebody else's. Anyway, then we have Astrid Gilberto, Brazilian singer, most noted for her Girl from Ipanema. That was not Mrs. Miller, but Astrid was the one that originated Girl from Ipanema. Yes. And the disaster that was Mrs. Miller singing The Girl from Ipanema. And then we have friend of ours, Jan Robinson and Joe Hogan. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
March 30th, Robert Bunsen, a German chemist, pioneer in photochemistry, and he created the Bunsen burner of all things. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Jethro Tull,
Not the band.
British agriculture revolutionist of the 18th century. He perfected a horse-drawn seed drill that laid seed in nice, neat little rows. That was his claim to fame. And Paul Reiser, actor, most known for as Paul Buckman on Mad About You. And he's Comedy Central, one of Comedy Central's top 100 comedians.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, yeah. And he's actually touring, doing stand-up comedy shows, etc.
Okay.
So, March 31st, Christopher Walken in A Winter Wonderland. Actor, currently Bert on Severance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many other things. Oh my gosh. It just, wow.
I really like this guy, even though he always seems to sort of play the same kind of quirky character.
Yeah.
There's just something about him that I really
he's
like.
He's just always kind of just out there, kind of as if he's distracted by life.
My favorite role of his was in Pulp Fiction. He plays this soldier who's got to come in and explain to this kid about the death of this kid's father, and he improvised that entire scene, and it is so off the wall hilarious.
Yep. He was at the age of 15. He was training to be a lion tamer.
Oh, of course he was,
and always tries to work a little jig into his performances.
I haven't seen it yet. I've been watching closely, and I have not seen it.
I thought, at this last episode where they were playing some music that he might do that at that.
Yeah,
time.
that would have been a good moment, but no, I didn't see it.
And then we have JSB, Johann Sebastian Bach. Prolific composer of the Baroque period. His music was rather exacting yet harmonically innovative music as opposed to his peers. He didn't shy away from the odd chord thrown in there, but it was always a music theory reason that it was put in there.
It always made sense. I mean, there was some sort of resolution that came, that happened on the other side.
Exactly. His sway over music theory is still evident today. A lot of music theory teachers teach Bach and, his thematic, how to go about writing something. You do this and this and this.
Well, it's the foundation.
Yep, exactly. Some say he's one of the world's greatest composers.
Certainly one of the most prolific. I mean, he could compose. Yeah. I've seen or heard stories where he would be invited into the house of royalty or something like that, and they'd sit him at their piano and they played like 5 notes and say, write a fugue, because he was famous for that, and he would write this enormous fugue based on those 5 notes that he was presented.
Interesting.
I mean, the man was a genius.
And then we have Rene Descartes.
Oh, I think not.
French philosopher and mathematician, invented analytic geometry, lived in the mid-16th and 17th century, and one of the key figures in the scientific revolution. There is this famous joke about him where he walks into a bar and the bartender asks him if he'll have a beer, and he says, I think not, and disappeared.
Yeah, right in a puff of smoke. I don't get it.
I tickled myself.
Can I watch?
Yeah. And then we have friend of ours, Jocelyn Simone, a.k.a. Madame Askew, and Mr. Miguel Rodriguez. Happy birthday, Miguel.
Happy birthday.
April 1st, Debbie Reynolds, actress, movie debut, Singing in the Rain, and mother of Carrie Fisher. She had an extensive collection of movie memorabilia. She was a movie-holic, she described herself. So, and then Grace Lee Whitney, actress, Star Trek, Janice Rand, of many ranks.
Yeoman at first, and then she was a transporter chief, and then
she was
God knows what else.
And like most of the Star Trek original gang was in many of the TV series in the 50s and 60s, just as one-offs. Has several anecdotes about her wig that was designed by Max Factor. She said somebody stole it one time. She used to just fear that it would appear somewhere and just be there. She said that once she got clean and sober, she would visit downtown LA and, Skid Row. And she was afraid that she would find some homeless woman or a drag queen wearing that wig.
I like your choices. Those are really awesome choices.
Yeah. And then we have Facebook friend David Emil Ruiz, Jackson Pryor, John Cordani, and it is the 15th anniversary of owning our
Oh my
home
goodness, it is.
on April the 1st.
I forgot about that.
Yep. April 2nd, Pedro Pascal, actor of Mandalorian, Game of Thrones, Wonder Woman 84. There we go. Mm-hmm. Kingsman, among others.
And what's coming up for him?
And he's actually in a new film with Nicolas Cage, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It looks like an absolutely
a train wreck.
Crazy film.
It's a train wreck.
Yep.
But yeah, I cannot wait to see it.
He was born where your mother was born.
Oh, really?
Santiago, Chile.
I didn't know that.
And they moved to Orange County when he was a very young child.
Okay.
And then we have Linda Hunt.
Shout out to Mapes.
Housekeeper. And an actress.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't start acting until she was almost 40 years old. In the year of Living Dangerously, somebody chose her for that film. Mm-hmm. And then she did Dune and Pocahontas. And since 2009, she's NCIS Los Angeles.
She's the reason I have watched that show.
Yep. Has lived with her partner Karen Klein since 1987.
I did not know that. Well, good for her.
Yep. And then we have friend of ours, Matt Gorlick and Kat Forrest. Happy birthday to the two of you. And then April 3rd, Doris Day.
She's the godmother of parking.
Exactly. She had a long career and featured in the popular series of films with Rock Hudson.
Many of those are really good.
They're great films. And was a passionate animal rights activist. Mm-hmm. She always managed to find a parking place right up front.
Yeah.
Wherever she was going.
That's why it's always called Doris Day Parking.
That's why it's called Doris Day Parking. And she didn't even have to say the parking prayer.
No, she didn't.
Hail Mary,
because she's Doris Day.
Exactly. She didn't have to say, Hail Mary, full of grace, help me find a parking place.
No. Because she's Doris Day. She's the godmother of parking.
She's the goddess of parking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
David Hyde Pierce, actor, known as Niles Crane on Frasier, done a number of movies, and then went to Broadway for a while, mm-hmm. and actually is in a new series that has been completed and yet to be released called Julia, and she plays Paul Child.
Oh, he plays Paul?
Yes.
Oh, that'll be good.
And he lives
I didn't know that.
Yep. He lives with his partner, Brian Hargrove, in Los Angeles.
He's also an amazing pianist.
Yep. And they've been together since the 80s.
Yeah, I'm very happy for them. I wish we could have seen him in Spamalot.
I know.
When we were in New York. That would have been great.
That would have been great. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Hey, this is Michael Chan from Star Trek Discovery, and did you know I am the co-host of the Hellbound Podcast? Did you really need to tell everyone that you're from Star Trek Discovery? Oh, hey, Vampire Michael Chan doppelganger. Listen, all you need to say is that it is a podcast about all things horror, and it releases a new episode every Wednesday on all major podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcast. Well, if you're so smart, why don't you do this? Well, maybe I will. Actually, I think you just did. Oh, I guess I did.
It's Michael Chan Monday on the Two Gay Geeks podcast. Got lots of Michael there. Go listen to him on his Hellbound podcast.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counselors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
We want you to know about the Joshua Tree Feeding Program. They are in Maricopa and Pinal counties, and they have a food bank for the HIV and AIDS community, and we want you to support them. Go to JTFP, where you can .org, where you can give a single gift or a monthly recurring gift. That's JTFP.org.
And it's time for our feedback. These are comments that we received in response to articles or episodes that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com. And the links for each of these will be in the show notes for this episode, article number 371 at tggeeks.com. Starting with regarding TGGeeks episode number 366, where we got a comment from Arkle. He says, so, hey, remember my interview when I said you wouldn't be hearing my voice in the special project for the Shameless Cash Grab 5th anniversary? Well, I turned out to be wrong.
You lied!
Well, no, he was deceived. I was unaware that my mom was going to use footage from the season wrap-up episodes in that series. But yeah, all of Shameless Cash Grab's second opinions is up now on the channel, where my mom and step-parent give their own thoughts about the movies I named best of the first 6 seasons. And hey, if you missed it the first time around, you can see the funny wig I wore for the season 3 wrap-up episode. It was posted on Halloween, and then he gives a YouTube link for that, and we will include that in the show notes. And then we close it off. Wow, this is a flashback regarding Alexander James' interview at CocoCon 2019.
Alexander James Adams.
What did I say?
Alexander James.
I'm sorry, you're right. Alexander James Adams' interview at CocoCon 2019. Got a comment, and this is on our YouTube channel, from the Lestrange Lair. And she simply writes, lovely interview, so magical. And that is her feedback.
And you can leave a comment on our Facebook page or Twitter or YouTube like this, or Instagram or tggeeks.com, anywhere you find us. You can also call and leave us a voicemail at 469-TGGeeks. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice.
For more than 2 decades, Judy and Dennis Shepard have honored their son Matt by working to erase hate around the world. The Matthew Shepard Foundation honors his legacy by inspiring the good work of activists, teachers, artists, and legislators, and everyday LGBTQ+ folks and their allies. Join us today in helping to erase hate. Visit MatthewShepard.org.
Thank you to Comcast NBC Universal for that promo. As everybody knows, we're huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. We want you to support them as well. So if you see them at a book fair or at a con, which are beginning to make their way back, please buy their stuff, chat them up online, tell other people about their stuff, and buy their stuff. Please support independent creators. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like 2 gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're 2 gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Well, we don't really have anything to talk about other than Friday night we decided, or you decided,
I picked
that we would watch Major League, which,
Yeah.
if you're a baseball nerd, it
And
is.
we are.
It is
I
just a fun movie.
I mean, we haven't been to a proper baseball game. I mean, the
In a
last one we
couple of
went to
years,
was Pride in Arizona, where the Diamondbacks were celebrating LGBTQ Pride Night. And that was the last time, and we hadn't been to back to a baseball game in forever since we were season ticket holders, and then since the pandemic began, of course not. But we are big baseball nerds. You especially, you learned how to do the scoring, you know, in scorebook and all that. So yeah, baseball nerds, we love the game. We love being in the park. And now that spring training has begun, it seemed like a nice idea to kind of revisit that movie. Hadn't seen it in years, and I'd forgotten how funny it is.
It's just hilarious. And that's it for talking about Major League.
And it's time for our weekly review. These are items that we ran on our website at teachgeeks.com this past week, and the links for each of these will be in the show notes for this episode number 371 at teachgeeks.com, starting with Sunday, March 20th, Nerdy Chupacabras number 92. On Monday the 21st, TG Geeks episode number 370. On Tuesday the 22nd, Film Movement announces Poppy Field to be released April 8th. On Wednesday the 23rd, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent in theaters everywhere April 22nd. And that article has the Red Band trailer for this movie. So watch it in the privacy of your own home and just be warned.
Yep.
On Thursday the 24th, Ben's Breakdown. Is Superman the movie the mightiest film of all time? There's a lot of talk with Henry Cavill coming back as Man of Steel in the Zack Snyder universe, whatever. And not to diss Henry Cavill, I like him, but I just thought it would be a nice time to revisit that article that I wrote about 2 years ago. On Friday the 25th, Hamish Downie's 5 Questions with Keith Levesque. And on Saturday the 26th, The Bad Guys in theaters April 22nd, and that includes a featurette there. We have some shout-outs that we need to make. First to Brian Weber, also known as Arkle. You heard feedback from him earlier. He is on Twitter. He's referred to as Brian the Ampersand List YouTuber. He also has his Arkle Times Post Dispatch News there, which republishes some of our content from time to time. And if you want to find the Arkle Times Post Dispatch News, find him on Twitter. And the best way to do that is to search for Geek of All Trades, at Geek of All Trades, at the number, or the letter G, the number 3, the number 3, the number, the letter K. Oh boy. I mean, it's G33KOFALLTRADESEIEIO. And then
you can't forget the EIEIO.
Oh no, it's vital. Otherwise Twitter will just implode. And while you're looking for all things Arkle EIEIO, go to his YouTube channel, youtube.com/Arkle Studios. He has a number of projects there. His Shameless Cash Grab series, which is in season 7. His Rants versus Zombie series. The series is over. He's not making any more new episodes, but the old episodes are still there. He also has Arkle Tier Ranks, as well as his game videos of Trick and Treat, as well as Star Trek Online. We must also give some shout-outs to a couple of Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their pages. First, to Gay Geeks After Hours. Got to give big thanks to their moderators for saying that we could share away our content there. And their URL is facebook.com/group/Gay Geeks After Hours, and that's all one word. And then to The Gay Geek for, pretty much the same. And their URL is facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek. And as always, we give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
And thank you, Jeremiah. Other places we can be found are Spotify and TuneIn, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Sci-Fi Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific on Tuesdays. They have a replay of the episode and listen to their other content. They are a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and those around you. Stay safe. Continue to wear a mask. Get vaccinated. Peace.
Cheers.